right now it's time for Broussard to deliver the inspiration and motivation to anyone under duress in the sports world. It's a letterless version of the Bud List. Just go with it, bro.
That's it?
Gosh darn it.
He told me before the show he was mailing it in
I didn't say we're mailing it in.
Brou.
I said we've outgrown
Did he not mail that in?
Hold on, Brou.
I said we've outgrown it.
You know what, Wilds, you know what the answer, this is not always the answer, but you know what the answer here is?
What?
Honesty. Brou. Wilds thinks the preamble is long, that it takes some of the wind out of your sails, and that if he goes right to you, that you're going to be like, bam, here's who needs motivation.
Oh.
Bam, here's who needs motivation.
That's even worse.
And what?
What? The Bud List is not living up to your expectations.
I didn't
That's
say
what
that.
he said.
Gosh
said
darn
The
it.
Bud, I come out with this great intro. I got a letter. I got the twins and all this stuff. And then Brou drops the ball.
I never said that.
That's what
He
you're
said
saying.
that. I don't
Is
want
that not what he's
No,
that's
here's
what
what I think.
That
If we have
is
to do it.
exactly
You know what,
you're saying.
America, this is why you
If
shouldn't
Nick
be
is
honest.
right, that's what
This
No,
is why
I
you
don't
should
think
just
that
lie.
before a segment, if we're designing the show, and like, what do you want to do before the segment? I want to read a letter from a fake family and then put my co-host in a cowboy outfit. It makes no sense. But there's so much momentum behind it.
I got
It's
news
New Year,
for
start
you.
fresh.
I got news for you. Your little letter bit was not outshining the Bud List.
I didn't say
it was a nice
I'm trying to
supplement.
kill it.
It was a nice supplement. That's it. The Bud List can stand on its own.
I'm trying to.
Let's
Why are
get
you
to some
yelling at me?
motivation. Number 3, Dan Campbell.
Now
It worked. Wow.
Dan Campbell. All right. Now, Dan, I rock with you. I really do. I like what you're about. I didn't even mind the kneecap thing when you first took over the team. You have changed the culture of a horrific franchise. Everybody don't feel that way.
I like that.
Everybody doesn't feel that you are doing the right thing with your tough, gritty, we play every game mentality. And if you lose this weekend, then the skeptics will pounce. Even if it rightly or wrongly, you might have lost anyway, even if you rested the guys, but they will pounce. And this is an important game. I mean, you talk about going from the number 1 seed and getting a week, 2 weeks essentially off, or being the number 5 seed, and you could play the Rams, or Tampa, or Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, Atlanta, yeah.
But the Rams had you on the ropes, and you beat them in overtime early in the year when you were healthy. Yeah. Tampa Bay beat you. Now, I think you're better than those teams, but still, that just proves anything can happen. So, Dan, go out there and make this a moot point and win. I believe in you. At number 2, how am I doing so far?
It's all right.
This is up to your standard.
He said that. He said it, not me.
He's doing good.
Number 2, Baker Mayfield. Baker, you got to win. You can still make it if you don't, but you got to win. So go out there. I believe in you. You didn't make the Pro Bowl. We were going to talk about that. I mean, it's kind of a slight. Jay, it's tough competition out there in NFC. But I believe in you, Baker. Go ahead and get it done and win this game. All right, at number 1.
What happened there?
I'm messing with you. Bo Nix, rookie, you've outdone yourself.
Yes.
You got the Chiefs. You should want the Chiefs. And they're playing their backups. This is your chance to beat them. You should have beaten them 2 months ago and get in the playoffs. They're resting all the good players. You've outdone yourself already, but go ahead and beat the Chiefs. Get into the playoffs for the first time in 9 years since Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl. You do this, Bo, you won't win Rookie of the Year, but this is huge. And Bo, I actually do believe in you. So go out there and beat the Chiefs. Put that on your resume. They're setting it up for you because they're playing the backups. Get it done.
It's the 3 biggest games of the weekend.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, I'm going to just throw your guy, Jordan Love, on here.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not loving it. Not loving it. Clearly not loving it. You got 18, week 18, going up against the Chicago Bears, a team that you guys have owned, 11 straight wins. You're a part of that now. But your coach has decided, my guys need to play. Why? Primarily because you haven't played good. You didn't play good last week against another division rival. But you in these games that you gotta perform, and I'm not necessarily talking about this week, it's the postseason. Because in games that you haven't won, this is what you look like this year. When we look at your numbers, it's not good. Ooh. You're gonna have to face 1, 2, or 3 of these teams. Well, 2 of these teams if you keep winning. You can't be this guy. Jordan, you're better than this. Your team is expecting you to play better than this. Your coach is basically saying, I want to see more going into the postseason. It is up to you to build the momentum because whoever you need to face, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's the Rams, and if you win one of those games, so on and so forth, the Lions or the Vikings, you can't be that guy. You got to be the guy that they expected you to be when they paid you all that money. Jordan, I believe in you. Don't be J-No. Be
J-Lo.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. Yes, go out there and get it done, J-Lo. I'm with that.
Before I do my thing, because it's not quite 410 yet, and there's rules and standards about this. Brou, did you think, we were talking about the NFC Pro Bowl snubs. We were focused on Baker not making it over Jaden. Did you think J-Lo had a case? Like, we didn't get to it earlier in the show. So
not above those 4.
Not
above those. As much as I like him.
There's a little, which is, I guess, like,
going in, you might
oddly disappointing going, you know what I mean? Given the expectations going into the year. Okay, now it's
time for the media ombudsman, everybody.
Wilds.
Can you add some zest?
Your Bud List edition better be fire today. You're okay. All right. So here's the thing. Very often when I do this, I'm talking about people at this desk. Very often it's Wilds or Brou. Today, if there's anyone at this desk I'm talking about, it would be Greg Jennings. But it's not just Greg Jennings. It's the entirety of the NFL media who is tarnishing the legacies of the dynasty in our midst because they're a little bored with it. Because yes, team championships, championships are a team award.
Yeah.
But historically, go back, check guys' football reference pages. You're like, oh, what were the accolades? When we talk LeBron James, it's not the first thing you enter. You're like, he made 20 consecutive All-NBA teams. 20 years in a row without a down year. Silly me. I thought Patrick Mahomes might be able to have a legacy like that in the NFL. Going to be a Pro Bowler for life every year he started. NFL media, those too bored with it. They're like, old news. 15-1, 2-time defending Super Bowl champion, most clutch quarterback in the league, dealing with more injuries than anyone on offense. He doesn't get the credit for their winning. Okay, so my question is this. Who does? It's not Andy Reid. He's 40-1 to win Coach of the Year. God knows he's not doing the job Kevin O'Connell is doing. Because why? Because the Chiefs have such a better roster than the Vikings, except for, of course, the Vikings have more Pro Bowlers, and the Vikings quarterback is a Pro Bowler, and the Chiefs isn't. Oh, it must be because of the defense. Well, no, it's not that either, right? Because there's only one great defensive player on the Chiefs, only one defensive Pro Bowler. That's Chris Jones. Well, they got the #1 defense in football with only one Pro Bowler. He must be having a historically great defensive year. What are his chances of winning Defensive Player of the Year? Let me check. Oh, I'm sorry. 100-1. And then, so then it must be the quarterback. Maybe the Pro Bowl's about stats, but the quarterback is just willing them. So he's been the most valuable because obviously Coach isn't doing a great job. Doesn't have a ton of talent. There's only one great player on the defense. What are Patrick's chances of winning MVP of the league? I looked it up this morning. 400-1. Worse than Baker, worse than J-Lo, worse than all these guys. So we are in the midst of what will go down as the greatest season in professional football history. A team that lost one time en route to doing something that was heretofore thought impossible. winning 3 consecutive Super Bowls. They've done it amidst brutal injury luck in one of the toughest divisions in football, playing one of the toughest schedules. And at the end of the year, the only accolades or awards anyone on the team is going to have is the Super Bowl trophy and the Super Bowl MVP trophy. There won't be any league MVP, coach of the year, individual recognition. I am even hearing, every time we hear assistant coach of the year, poor Steve Spagnuolo can't get it. It's like, oh, Ben Johnson, did you see the lateral zipping? And it's because this year's sports media has decided the Chiefs angle is boring. And so instead of talking about the Chiefs like they're doing something they've never done, we talk about them, they don't do things we want them to do. And now you're seeing it affect guys' legacies. I don't like it.
There's a lot of truth there. You know how Mahomes can get in the Pro Bowl.
Exactly.
They lose in the playoffs.
I
do think, Nick, and we know Andy Reid's not going to win Coach of the Year. Phil Jackson, how many times did he win it?
I don't know.
I don't even know if he probably won once. But that's because of, the established greatness, and every year they expect greatness from him. But I do think the fact that they only have 5 Pro Bowlers is kind of a nod, even subconsciously, to Reid. I mean, if you don't have a ton of Pro Bowl caliber players, then the coach has to be doing something right to go freaking 15-1 against that schedule.
You would think.
Yeah,
Look, here is a sneaky diss of an award.
But that's because the media doesn't.
Yeah. It's like, you guys aren't that good, but you did a great job. It's not a good award.
As King of Vibes, I'm putting the Eagles on.
I like this
on the Bud list.
You finally did
and we
something
talked
right.
about the record. We talked about the historical impact. We talked about rest. We talked about the playoffs. We haven't talked enough about the vibes.
Okay.
The key of a team with good vibes, everybody rowing in the same direction. Hey, Dan Campbell says, I know there's nothing to play for. We're going to San Francisco. We are all going to play. Everybody played. You didn't hear one word about it. No one's like, actually, by the way, I would like to rest. My knee hurts. No, they were all locked in. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles. Saquon said he didn't want it, and then he thought about it, decided that he did. Sirianni is getting credit for making the decision, or he's really credit, blame, whatever you want to say. Sirianni is also the same coach who pulled Saquon aside during the Giants game about his personal record and said, hey, I'm going to take all the starters out and rest them. Would you like to go for it? And Saquon said no. So part of me thinks that Sirianni sneaky wanted to go for it. Mailata wanted to go for it. Lane Johnson didn't. So I think the vibes in Philadelphia are very weird, and not necessarily weird. No. Just not. I think there would have been better vibes if everybody played a half. Again, I'm big on this Cam Ward thing. Play a half hard. We're going to give you a half to play. Then we're going to rest.
I agree with you. This could backfire on them. And Lane, look, again, I give him credit for being honest, but I was stunned that he said that. And even if it was to the point where it was like, he's really banged up, just rest him. Because you still would have the other starting linemen who want to play. But this could hurt the vibes.
And I don't know, I wish I could give credit to the reporter, but I read today, and it was someone that covers the team, with speculation, seemingly informed speculation, that this decision was pushed above Sirianni.
See, I buy that.
That it was, whether it was ownership / the front office that was more behind the let's give our guys some rest, which does track in this regard, that Sirianni's not really, totally in charge of a lot with, with the team. Howie Roseman's the most powerful guy there. Someone run the offense, someone run the defense. So you wouldn't be surprised that it was a collaborative decision, but Brou, does this put them on Funk Watch?
Funk Watch might be a stretch, but the door is open now. I mean, I really think this could be an issue.
Quarterback hasn't played in a couple weeks.
Well, that's the underrated story of this whole thing. They do need Jalen Hurts to clear concussion protocol in the next 8 days. That is quite important.
Can I ask you a question before we leave, because we're not talking about it again in the show? Do you think Saquon could have been more forceful behind closed doors? I know resting is important, and we don't know if he did this or not. I want to go for it, 100%. And even if guys are resting, I'll go behind the backup O-line. Me and Kenny Pickett will get out there. Give me a shot at it. I deserve this. Would that have registered?
Probably, to your point, I think it would have registered with Sirianni. I don't know if others above Sirianni, it would have mattered.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.